Chris, Mitra, David, Tanya, Bob, and myself. So now, traditionally, anyone up for a little introduction? What we do, actually, we're just bringing everyone on the same page, just throwing few pointers, basics, absolute basics, what is understood and clear for yourself. Just, we don't bring any other teachers or teachings or quote our favorite books. Just stay with the beautiful simplicity of Bob's style. Just the intro.
Go, Kat. You're on.
Chris, how about you? Would you?
Okay, you go.
Okay, so the basic. Everybody is present and aware of the presence. That's absolute basic. Nobody can deny the fact that they are conscious right now, alive, conscious and present, aware of being conscious and present. And as far as that goes, that's it. Really. I mean, there are lots of concepts, and all the systems, philosophical, religious, are built on the predicament that there is something more or something else to know or to be had or to achieve or to find. And of course, if it's not right now, it will have to be in the future. So that's where the whole conundrum starts. Not only it presumes that there is a self that can achieve or become something, it also presumes there is a future in which that is to happen, and the effort, the action, what can I do now to get there? While the fact of awareness, of presence, of being alive right here, right now, is completely overlooked and ignored. So this is really what it all wraps up to. And now we can see, how did that even happen? That the most obvious, luminous truth of presence, of awareness, of radiance of life has been overlooked. Why is it ignored? Why the fact that is undeniable, the only thing that is known directly, that is not told by the third party, that one is being overlooked and ignored. So Bob shows us how the little baby is born right into the natural state. It is the light of life is shining out of its eyes. Nobody will deny that the little baby is conscious, is aware, is alive. Or that little baby here that is sitting with us here. Let me get him on Bob's lap. Oh, baby, come. That's his location. That's it. Yeah, so he's in natural state. He's present and aware. He is alive. And as the child is born, a child learns through the imitation, imitating parents, society, caregivers. And imitation means basically learning the emotions from the expressions, learning words, and learning the habit of identifying as the imagined self that allegedly resides inside. The mother, the father, the teachers, the caregivers believe that they have a self or the ego that sits inside somewhere of the head, and they pass it on. That misconception, misidentification is passed on to the child. As the child learns more and more words, symbolic language, the nature of symbolic language is to create substitutes for concepts, is conceptualize symbols or make a symbolic representation of things. So as the child labels things and things and things, it starts labeling itself as well, as now I am this child, this is who I am. Now the truth of being alive, of being life itself, looking through the eyes of a little child, that truth is being exchanged for the thought that no, I am this little boy or little girl, this is who I am. I am not the totality looking through the instrument of the eyes anymore. I'm a child. And then because it doesn't feel right, throughout the lifetime there is a sense of incompleteness and sense of deficiency and sense of a need to add to that image, to somehow complete it. Because the I, the child, isn't really an appropriate description of the miracle of aliveness and that luminous radiance. It isn't. It just doesn't give it a justice. So the search for oneself starts. the child asserts the identity, then the teenage puberty comes, more feelings, more emotions, more asserting of the identity. And it all happens through imitating the society, which means adding, accumulating, amassing, trying to find better friends, better jobs, better books, better entertainment, better self-definitions. Until the time comes when the suffering associated with just creating stronger and thicker cage of concepts on that aliveness, covering that luminous truth of heart, of aliveness, with ideas, that suffering gets so intense, then seeking for money, name and fame becomes a seeking for some alleged truth of enlightenment later on. So that's usually when the search starts, that somehow the body-mind comes across the idea of enlightenment, of freedom, or liberation, or completeness, or wholeness. Those ideas are presented in many ways in different philosophical systems. And first, it really all happens on the level of ideas. Yes, I understand intellectually. I understand that I am, but I don't feel it. Yes, I will practice, I will get there, I will do anything, everything it gets. And there is still the I in the center. There is still the idea that this is me, I am incomplete, I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy, and I will do whatever the guru or the teacher or someone separate and superior tells me to do. And it has to happen this way. It often does. It is just how the life unfolds. And that's what we do initially. We just really review those concepts. And we bring up another concepts to battle the concepts, the misconceptions. The way Bob shows it, he shows how the whole trick comes into existence, how the accumulation of ideas or identities comes into existence. Then he shows us how the capacity for thinking and reasoning creates really compelling story of I living through time. I am a person, I was born, I went to school, I got abused or molested, or this happened or that happened, and that identity gets solidified. And this all lives in that overlay of the constructed world, constructed in the story. So Bob also shows, once you see how the world gets constructed, he shows that there is, underneath that whole construct of concepts, there is that aliveness, there is that presence. It never goes anywhere. It is like the screen on which every movie is being projected. Whether it is a drama, or it's a comedy, or it's a thriller, whatever the content of the movie, whatever the content of the life story or drama is, there is a screen without which it wouldn't even be possible. So that screen of awareness, that radiant presence of aliveness, that life essence, is the screen on which all the content of the story of me, the content of seeing, appears and disappears. As you can see, from the life's perspective, there is that life, the life which needs a vehicle to experience and express. And a life dreams itself, or grows itself, if you want to look through the example of time, grows itself a body from the cell, from the sperm and ovum. It grows itself a little fetus, it grows a child, and throughout conditioning of that child, it has the device of vehicle of experiencing. Now that energy, that pure life essence, is filtered through that body mind, is capable of seeing, of hearing. So the pure intelligence of life, pure intelligence that creates the whole incredible diversity of forms and patterns, through the form of a human body, it has the capacity of seeing, hearing, and thinking. Through the body of the cat, it doesn't conceptualize, but through the body of human, it creates the story. It's a storytelling capacity. But if not for that life essence, if not for that energy, the storytelling is not available. If not for the life essence, the seeing, the hearing, the tasting, the touching, the smelling is not available. The corpse has all the organs, it has eyes, it has brain, but the capacity is off, it's not there. So this is where it kind of makes it obvious that your essential nature is not the corpse, or is not the content of seeing or content of thinking, which is constantly changing, but the pure life, pure intelligence, pure capacity for the experiencing. That is your essential nature, and that is already here, present, clear, right now. The capacity for experiencing, whether the content of experiencing is the belief that you are an individual, the person, the poor miserable little me or ego, or whether the content of experiencing is just that pure luminous presence with whatever is a content of seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling and thinking. That's still the case. It still stands. Whether you know it, whether you recognize it or not, that presence, that aliveness is your essential nature. Now, of course, from the perspective of the dream character, understanding it or believing it doesn't do the justice. It doesn't do anything. Yes, I agree with that. Who agrees with that? Is there anyone there? Oh yes, I understand it intellectually. Who? Who understands it? What is the intellectual understanding? Intellectual understanding is a belief. I agree with that, I believe that. But that's not good enough. We are talking about knowing, and direct knowing, and non-conceptual knowing. Knowing without the concept, without the content. So, and that knowing is present. It's just invisible because all of the attention is scattered around the thinking. How to recognize that movement of attention going away from that radiant presence, aliveness, to the story, to the thinking. How to see that this is how the whole magic trick is played. Well, only through relaxation. The more of that attention relaxes from that trap of thought or concept or story, the more of that free attention lands in that heart of being knowing. Because that being knowing is a natural state. And see, everyone is being and everyone is knowing that they are. Everyone is already being and knowing and loving to be. It is just that we lose sight of it because that inner entertainment, oh, they shouldn't have done that to me, or what am I going to do when I lose my job, or they don't respect me. That inner entertainment is so compelling and so attractive that the plain pre-sensory, not colorful, not flavorsome, just pre-sensory, blunt one could say for the mind, or non-existent for the mind, awareness of presence is just not attractive enough. But only because the perspective or the viewpoint has been mistakenly taken as being the mind, the thinking. From the perspective of thinking, which is the duality, thinking can only happen in pairs of opposite. Thinking can only, within the thinking, it can only be good or bad. If there is no good, there is no bad. If there is no bad, there is no good. There can only be dark or light. If there is no darkness, there is no light either. So thinking by its nature is polarized. That's how the expression, that's how the duality happens, through the polarities. Even seeing, you can see objects, but without labeling them, they are just as they are. But the moment mind comes on board, the mind, which is the thinking capacity, comes on board and attaches the labels to whatever is perceived, now it becomes polarized, it becomes dualistic. And that capacity for thinking, for creating duality out of direct experience, makes it impossible to see that which is beyond the division, that basic screen of awareness, which is non-dual. That awareness of presence, that aliveness is non-dual. It doesn't have the opposite. So it can't be grasped by the mind. And that is really all the pointing to non-duality boils down to verifying and proving it to the mind that it can't grasp it. There is no way, the mind, there is no method through which the thinking can grasp aliveness. Thinking is dead. It can't encompass the principle of life. And the thinking that creates that imagined entity or self or ego or soul or I or whatever the label is on it, that entity, that imagined misconception is made of words, is insentient. It just borrows or it hijacks seemingly the energy of life. So it feels, I feel alive, there is aliveness. But now the mind tells, but this is me, this is I am alive. That I, the person, I, the separate entity, the small I that is encapsulated, captured in the body, in the flesh. But that is just a concept. There is no one there. There is no one there who can claim that it is alive. It's just aliveness. It's just like there is a seeing. And the mind, the thought comes and claims, no, this is I. I do the seeing. And we can see how in some of the activities, mind doesn't even have the language to claim, or the thinking capacity doesn't have that. We don't say, I'm growing my hair, or I'm beating my heart, or some of those capacities are understood to be pure functioning, pure automatic functioning. But the truth is, all of them are. All of them. There is not one thing that imagined individual does. Not one thing. And a beautiful way Bob is presenting it to us is when he says, do you know what your next feeling is going to be? Do you know what you're going to feel in a minute? Do you know what you're going to think in a minute? And just prove it to yourself. Check and see if you have any control or any idea what it is going to be. You'll see the thinking is as automatic as seeing. Nobody does the seeing, nobody does the thinking. It is what is happening, and it is happening inseparably from the environment. There is nothing outside or inside. There is just one wholeness that is interacting with itself. It's just playing, dancing within itself. The dreaming. So I guess that will do for now.
Yeah, beautiful. That was, you asked before if one of us would like to do it, and there's no way we could. I could myself put it so succinctly as that. That was beautiful. It really brings it home when we listen to it. It doesn't matter how many times you listen to it. One part of that hit me more than other times. And that happens every single time. So.
And which part was it?
I had a vision of us being actors on a stage while you're talking about that. We're actors on a stage, and we've forgotten that we're actors. It's almost like someone's injected us with a drug, and we've forgotten we're actors, and we're just playing in this acting, and slowly through things like coming across the teachings and whatnot. It feels like the drug's wearing off, and I'm like, well, hang on, maybe I'm not this actor. Maybe it's not really happening. Maybe this is all just a play, and it's not. So that's what was coming through my mind when I was listening to the words today.
Yeah, that's a beautiful metaphor.
Yeah.
I actually like using the idea of costume.
Yes.
This is really a cage of concepts. It's a costume.
Yeah.
That life is wearing for fun.
Yeah. 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 And once we realize we're not the character in the acting, we're actually something else. Like the words now coming out of my mouth. there's no doer there saying these words now. It's just spontaneously coming. Once we realize that, we can settle back, and the whole drama, the whole emotions with the whole play just die away, and you can just settle into what the reality is. So that's the essence I get from it.
Oh, that's beautifully said, because if you again, this is the only doing that is required from someone who is not the doer. Stop doing.
Yeah.
Cease doing. So relaxing and thank you, Patricia. We had a nurse who was changing Bob's medication. So relaxing back is, that's what the space does. You are the space-like awareness, or sky-like awareness, not the doer, not the individual imagined self. So as your essential self, you are already, right now, that relaxed, natural witnessing presence. And in this, whatever is going to be spoken, I'm not doing any speaking. I have absolutely no idea what the next word is going to come out. But I am the presence in which the speaking is witnessed. It is enjoyed. Anything, whether it is good or bad, is somehow met with like, wow, aha. Not even a judgment. This is good or bad, or pleasant or painful. It's just, okay. Life is just revealing itself to itself through that relaxed, natural state. And the only way to become or to achieve is to stop becoming or achieving, because you are that already. You are that relaxed natural presence. If there is a tension arising in it, and a grasping and wanting and always wanting what is not, relaxing that tension brings back that sense of amazement in life and sense of curiosity of what is the next role, what is the next play, how it is going to present itself to itself, because every moment is so fresh, so new. It has never ever been like this before. It will never be like this again. So isn't it just amazing to not miss it out? Just relax back and see, that is what's presented. And now the body is stressed, okay. And now the body is in pain, okay. So that is always there. But sometimes all of the attention is hijacked by the narrative, complaining and resisting. Yes, but it shouldn't be this way, this is wrong, I don't want this, And now that part of that relaxed attention, which is there always, is completely overlooked, because there is no, the whole computing capacity has been hijacked by
it's just, gosh, love it. Yes. Habitual, yes, the habit. And sometimes the anxiety, seeming anxiety can arise. How do I know that I am relaxing in presence awareness? The doubt, it's a beauty. Well, it's really just very simple. It's that which never changes. It's always there, no matter where you go, what you do. It's always there, subtly in the background. And it's that feeling, that sense, that whatever word, label, you know it.
Yes.
You know it intrinsically. You know it. But there's a tug going on of the habit, of the interest, of the distraction. It's all part of the game. But it really is that simple as relaxing into that which never changes. It's always there. It's so simple, but so subtle. And something else that came up as a WhatsApp group that I sometimes read, and I was up early this morning, I was having a look, it popped up, and there was some talk about this and that, and it arose that somebody made the point that everything that seemingly happens is random. There is no cause and effect. It's like you're throwing a die with an infinite number of faces. But the other, this is how it was kind of put, but the other end of the stick of that, or the way of conceptualizing it, is that there is no choice. This is choiceless awareness. So whatever will happen, must happen, will happen. And whatever will not happen, cannot happen, will never happen. So relax. What else can you do? You cannot do anything. The only thing really that the mind needs to know, as you said, Kat, is to know that you cannot find the answer in the mind. It's prior to that. It is that comfortable, relaxed, and we use, the mind wants to say boring, dull, whatever, but you know, there are other labels you can put on it, like peaceful, calm, content, unaffected, yet aware, free from all the, whatever you can imagine that life can throw up in this beautiful, vast play. Just wow. So wow.
So dynamically alive.
Please, Chris, take this stick.
He has the stick. Yeah, I feel like the presence is like bliss and alive and overflowing, and I don't know how long I've been coming, or went to Bob's 15 years ago or whatever, and it's always fresh. And I think sometimes in non-dual circles there's this idea that if you understand non-duality through a dead concept, nothing's happening is a hell, but nothing's happening is the power that is giving rise to the birth of the next possibility. And also, I'm more interested in my crafts and interest in my piano playing than I was before I came to these teachings, and I'm still interested in crafting it and improving it. So all that stuff is there, apparent progress, crafting, because that's what creates the universe, the next moment, the possibility. But the difference is that there's a sense of fullness. I'm not completing myself through the process, but life wants to always express and flow through a new idea and a new possibility, and that's that freshness and aliveness that I love. And it's always fresh, and I feel like I'm always learning something new, and even subtleties with the teaching that just sort of drop in, because it's not static. It's not like, oh, I've been to Bob's or I've been to non-dual teachings and now it's like this, because the moment there's that, it's dead. But if you see the cup with this freshness and with this beingness, then the cup's there for the first time, exploding into reality. Otherwise it's like, oh, there's a cup and I know what a cup is, and there's just me, and there's sitting, and there's deadness. But the true non-duality is dynamic. There's dynamic aliveness, and I feel like that's the beautiful thing. And it's a surprise, and it's like, oh, what will the hand do next? What will this do next? And then like there's a walk that I used to do when I lived in Melbourne, and it was just around the block, and every time I would see this particular sign, I would realize I'm not seeing that. It was just a sign of an ad or something. I realized for some reason this popped in, then I'm not seeing the sign again, I'm seeing it for the first time. And so it's not boring. But if I was in my head, I'd go, I've done this walk before, I'm bored of this walk. But it's like, wow, you know, this is for the first time. So I just find it amazing and beautiful. And yeah, the moment I go, oh, I've completed my search, or I've completed my thing, if it's in the head, then it becomes dead. Or there's no more to see, there's no more to find. For me, that's like the presence keeps maturing something. Like Bob says, you said, give it a wink. There's never ending. I haven't found an end. There's that unchanging fullness, but there's no end to the amount of maturing that seems to be able to happen within the context of it. So that's beautiful. I just love it. I'm so happy to be here. This is fun. Who's next for the stick? Yeah.
I actually wanted to maybe read a couple of comments. Yeah. So many people saying hello, sending love for you guys, and saying how beautifully is explained, Kat. I mean, that was before you guys mentioned anything. So, and then I'm really sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses. I think Anika, I can still manage because I want you guys to focus on talking. Yes, Anika, I think. I love been hearing you using that term, cage of concepts from you, Kat. That is like a compass for me. When I feel myself getting lost, I keep investigating that term of cage of concepts. Thank you, Kat. Very powerful. And so many others, Kat. And so much love. And Vivek says, no next possibilities in now. So that's it. I can ask questions, but I'll let you guys finish, and then I'll ask questions.
Oh, it's spontaneous. Whatever comes up.
Whatever comes up. Okay.
I would say there's always I would disagree and say there's always a new possibility, and that the past, the future, and the present appear in this presence. So you can. That's my response to that. Okay, maybe in absolute truth, he's right. That could be true, but there's always a new unfolding and possibility, and it doesn't take away from the fact that nothing's ever happened, and they're simultaneous. That's why I experience it. Yeah.
And it's. I'm a beginner, so I just have a very vague sense of what I've been trying to, like awareness, presence. I couldn't even understand this a few months ago. But now that I understand, I wonder why it took me so long to just understand such a simple thing. And then I found all of this very paradoxical, like, as you said about now. But there is one thing that you get a sense of awareness, get a sense of presence. I mean, it's just a name. I understand that it cannot be described by any name. But then there is another thing to feel liberated, to feel for suffering and illusion to end. That's another thing. I don't know how to, that process of, embodying that thing, which I don't know what to name it, right? That's another process, isn't it?
It's just, see, when I get the sense of awareness, or when I get liberated from suffering, that never happens. None of it can ever happen. It really is the paradigm shift, when the misidentification drops away, so there is no one to get the sense of awareness, and there is no one to get liberated from suffering. That is the paradigm shift from I am the person who is looking for freedom to, there's no one there. Oh shit. It's life unfolding, just playing up. See, and this is when Chris was expressing, it kind of came to mind that really what you were beautifully saying, prioritizing that present aliveness over the interpretation of it, over the commentary. Life is fresh and new, but the commentary will always flatten it out. Oh, I've seen it before. I've been, and the problem with that imagined self, that identity who wants to get to awareness, who wants to get liberated, that identity is based in giving full credibility to the commentary, to the narrative, rather than just staying relaxed in the aliveness. The only freedom is freedom from believing concepts, freedom from taking that commentary and that narrative, mixing it for the reality. This is, once the narrative happens, I'm not getting it, I'm only a beginner, and the recognition is right there, it's just a thought. It doesn't matter, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that there is an I that is a beginner. It doesn't mean anything at all. There is a consciousness there. There is a presence. And within that presence, the thought arises, oh, I'm just the beginner. This is just a thought arising in the consciousness. But from the perspective of that assumed misidentity, oh, this is the truth. And the consciousness is overlooked. From the perspective of consciousness of life or life at large, aha, this is a thought arising. And that thought doesn't mean anything. It's not true or untrue. It's rubbish. It's just a blah blah. It's nothing. So freedom from believing thoughts. Now you mentioned that sometimes, Tanya, that anxiety sometimes arises, or anything else that arises. The anxiety is usually associated with, yes, but I can't really, I'm not ready to really completely let go of the sense of control. No, it feels wrong, it feels dangerous, it feels unsettled, it feels that it is not safe for me to let go of control. There is no control, never was. There is nothing that anyone, because there is no one, has to get rid of or let go of, because there is nothing to let go, there is no one there. It's a simple recognition that any sense of control, any habit of believing thoughts is illusion. It is just an illusion. It's a movement of energy. The illusion that I'm in charge, the illusion that I can choose where I look right now. I can choose. Oh yeah, I've chosen. I'll be looking there. No, the looking happens first. Half a second later, the narrative comes. I've chose to look at that clock or at that sofa or whatever. So nothing. There was never any control at the first place. And again, you look at the newborn baby, you can see it doesn't even have the illusion of control. Illusion of control comes later. And then believing that illusion, that I'm in charge, I need to run my life, I need to watch out, I need to try harder, I need to be vigilant, I need to be a Nazi, capturing every thought. If I miss a thought, I have to beat myself up and punish myself. Those are just blah blah thoughts, they're all nonsense. The freedom is from believing any of it and just noticing in that relaxed space that they are just thoughts. I could speak those thoughts in Polish language and they would probably cause nothing. Tanya? Quickly?
There is no operational headquarters.
Yes, that's right.
It does not exist. Yes. There is no mind. There is no ego. These are all concepts. Perhaps they assist in the seeker journey, which is another major. It's no different to any other concept, but for some it feels like it is, but it isn't. Yeah. Thoughts are just words. Words are arbitrary sounds. Yeah. Sounds are just vibrations in space. Vibrations in space are nothing apart from that which is already there, the background. That's right? Yeah. So what is it you think you're paying attention to? What is it? It doesn't exist apart from the presence awareness. And it arises in that. Yeah. And we are in this play, but we are not of the play. We are discovering it from moment to moment. We're not, as individual entities, making anything happen. There's no choice because there is no individual entity. there is no, just, people talk about mind all the time. Again, they're just words, concepts, arbitrary sounds. Perhaps they assist in some way, and it's all perfectly fine, exactly as it is. You don't need to lay judgment about correct, incorrect, right, wrong. Life is totally self-organising. Just enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Take no blame, take no credit. Just be and see that it's all exactly fine, exactly as it is. You cannot worry yourself to a happy outcome. Drop it all. stop trying, stopping. You see, stopping, stop. Just stop it. Right, Bob? Just stop it. Stop it. That's it. Mitra?
That applies to you too, Mister.
It applies to you too.
I'm blessed. He's a demonstration.
He's a demonstration. Vivek says there is no feeling of freeing. You are just free now. And questions, doubts are a trap of the mind. And Soul says even non-dual concepts can become a cage in which the sense of me attempts to escape through understanding only.
Totally. And I would add, I would add, like I think I said it before, that non-duality, if it's just in the head, is just a dead prison. And so I would rather talk to people about what excites them in life rather than non-duality. If in a non-duality meeting, of course, we're talking about that presence, but that interests me more than just hearing someone say, I'm not this and then my thoughts are just clouds passing by. Unless it's really alive in the moment, it's just dead, and I'd rather just watch the river of life and enjoy it. And that's what I see. That's what I've seen over the years in non-dual circles, is that there's either this deep recognition and peace, or there's just spouting of concepts which aren't alive. If they're not alive for you, then and then life's like a beautiful free roller coaster ride, it's without having to pay anything, including some twists and turns and staying with your parents, which is always fun. I won't go into that now. Anyway, that's all from me. Over and out.
Just try Bob's glasses.
Wow, now there's something.
That's actually, this is harder for me.
Maybe
I'll leave.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, that would be actually amazing, I think.
Oh, the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Sol Hartman. That's a nice name. We've read that. Non-dual concepts can become a cage. Martin O'Leary, might be Irish. If I imagine an elephant in the room, is that elephant in the room real? No, it's not. It's just my imagination or a thought. Yeah. Yet, if I imagine a me, this is somehow taken to be real. Investigate it.
Beautiful.
Cool. Beautiful.
Brilliant. Invitation to investigate. Great point. Yeah. See how the imagination works. See how you can think about the elephant and it appears in the imagination even though it can't be touched. But whatever can be touched, it can also is an overlay of the interpretation that happens. Life is a mystery. You can call this one cat, but it doesn't come near to the softness of his fur.
Yeah.
Words are not the thing.
No, they're not. And you can also, again, this is an invitation, investigation, by just relaxing out and being present for life to reveal itself, to reveal in whichever way the attention travels, because it really is just like a light out of the eyes moving around, and you don't know where is the attention going to move. And just relaxing enough of that attention to be aware of the movement is just so beautifully fascinating and easy and light. It requires non-doing whatsoever. It is the relaxing of the tension in which now everything that is happening is actually being witnessed, is being known, is the cognizing emptiness, the emptiness with the capacity of knowing whatever arises. And that capacity is right here, right now. And everyone is already utilizing that capacity. And Bob sometimes shows how you can look around the room without labeling anything, and everything is actually known straight away. But the mind can only stick few labels on things. It can only interpret few things. It can only relate and reference few things. Oh, this mirror I like, and this one I don't like. or this is big or this is small. No, this cognizing emptiness, this cognitive capacity, this capacity for knowing is utilized naturally all the time. Attention only takes part of that space, and the bigger part the attention takes, the less of that natural recognition is attended to. So relaxing the thinking, the commentary, and realizing how much is happening in the field of knowing, in the seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling.
That's very true, Kat. If you really pay attention, and some authors have written about this, the knowing knows everything that's going on, but the naming is very limited to a small area of focus. Truly, there's an awareness that there's all sorts of things going on here in this room. There's peripheral stuff going, but if there's any labelling, I'm looking at a plastic tree. You know, the name, it's very limited to kind of where I'm directing this very narrow tunnel of attention. And that's just the labelling, the thoughts, which, by the way, we as apparent individual entities are not thinking.
Exactly.
It's again another misleading term, thinking, if you take it to imply that there is a thinker. Because if there is no individual entity there, then who is it that's doing the thinking?
No.
The thoughts are just arising.
Yep.
They're just coming up, and there is an awareness of them.
Yes.
And there is a seeming choice to put energy of belief into them. Seeming choice. But that too is just happening.
Arising.
That is just happening, is just arising. So don't get lost in the notion of thinking. It's very easy to do. We use that word all the time, thinking. But really there's just these vibrations of sound or image, however they may appear, and it's not different at all to what you think you're seeing externally. It's just more subtle. But you get a sense of belief that it's something internal. But there is no distinction between external and internal. It's all happening in the same space. It's just an appearance that one appears to be more subtle than the other.
And the images are very subtle.
That's it.
Sorry, I just had one comment. I didn't need to stick.
Yeah.
And an image is a subtle sound as well. So when people have their thoughts, there's a subtle sound vibration in that. So it's all part of one thing. Yeah. I think there's another comment. Martin O'Leary. That's my Irish accent. I don't know if he's Irish. Can the me exist without a thought? Can the me exist without a thought? Yeah, good question.
Yeah, look into it.
Yeah.
Who wants to say something? Give us.
You know Martin, do?
Do I know Martin?
Yeah.
Does he have an Irish accent?
No, not much.
He'll be here in a couple of weeks. We're looking forward, Martin, to have you here.
Maybe I'll do going.
You do.
Yeah.
He had the record shop.
Oh no, you're talking about Mick, darling. It's Martin. He's from New Zealand.
Martin,
Yeah.
do you have a record
No.
shop? Okay, someone
Bob.
else.
Yeah,
Okay.
the different name.
Okay.
Mick. Yes. Did you wanna?
So, about the comment, like when you said that it's all the thinking, So, for this, very understanding to be internalized more, to be that very initial understanding for me, I felt like, okay, because I'm pulled to thoughts, I'm pulled to emotions, I'm pulled to... So as Bob also said, it's all habitual. So I thought maybe the best thing to do for me is when I remember during the day, I just constantly go back to that present awareness. I just need to do that until that habit is broken, right? That's
put your
all.
heart in it, because if there is, if you're really, if you find in yourself a love and affection towards the truth and freedom, if your heart is with it, whenever the remembering happens, that love arises naturally, and yes, and just breathe that thought out, even for a moment, and rest in the heart, because there is sweetness in it. Now, this is not an austerity of a practice or something. Shit, I only remembered 5 times today. What's wrong with me? No, if there is love for the truth there, then you just dip in that love for a moment. Nice. Respite, relaxing the thinking, respite from that ADHD, dysregulated machine that is constantly yapping. So but if the machine takes credit for it, okay, now I will do it. I will be doing it. I'll be remembering. I'll be hammering it. Well, that's not relaxation. Yes, see, just that natural recognition, which is already underlying everything that is happening. The awareness of presence is always there. It's nothing that needs to be done to get it or to even remember it, apart from relaxing the attention from distractions. Because if you are overlooking it right now, well, why is it? Because you're thinking what to say, or you're thinking that maybe you can say something silly, or maybe you're thinking this or that. There is always a thought that obscures that clear sky. Relaxing it and putting your heart in that freedom from that turmoil, constantly commenting, comparing, judging, computing. And it's wonderful that this capacity is there. But if that capacity is dysregulating, if everything, there was this metaphor that mind is a tool for which everything looks like a nail, so it hammers. So it's just constantly latching onto everything. Mind, there is no mind, really.
To a hammer, everything is a nail.
Yes. The thing is, and also what you were saying, just see the arising the same way you notice the arising in the sphere of hearing. Just now there was a tram passing or the car passing. It arises, the sound of the passing traffic arises. The sound of the cat jumping of Bob's lap, that arises. In the same way, the commentary also arises. It's no difference. It's not like, but this was the car, this wasn't me, and this is me. No, there isn't any me. There is no one that does any thought, any thinking, any commenting, any judging, comparing. It's completely autopilot, automatic function. Is the survival mechanism, is the evolutionary adjustment, because it increases the chances for survival. But because it is unconscious, it's so mechanical, it completely steals the show and covers up that miracle of existence and causes suffering. Because if the perspective, if the looking at that miracle of existence means completely overlooking the mystery and being engaged with the judgment, comparison, computing, relating, this is that to me and this is that to me and that means this to me. Now suddenly we are leaving that constructed conceptual overlay, and the mystery is covered up. There is no amazement in there. There is just heaviness of me in the center. Oh my God, I'm getting it right. Oh, I'm getting it wrong. Oh, they don't respect me. Oh, they think wrong of me. And that means for me. And this diet is good for me. And this me. The obsession, heavy obsession. And the world is not even there. There is no space. There is no computing space. There is no processing capacity to actually see that mystery, to see the beauty, to see the amazement.
Can I ask a question just on that? If that all doesn't exist, where does the suffering actually happen then?
In the dream.
Yeah, but does the suffering exist?
Just as much
as a
everything
dream,
else.
yeah. So even the suffering is not even real. So when you're feeling the suffering, you can know that it's not real. So there's actually nothing to get rid of in that sense, is there?
No. No, it's just a recognition.
Yeah.
Nothing needs to be good.
So when you're feeling that suffering, you can know that, well, the suffering is actually an illusion as well, in some sense. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Because the nature of the dream is that, like you were saying about these actors wearing costumes and forgetting that they are acting.
Yeah.
So when in the play there is a suffering, that usually follows that there is a forgetting, that there is just an illusion.
So if there is no suffering, there's no real reason to get rid of it as well, because
no, absolutely
yeah,
no.
yeah.
In fact, accept it all.
Yeah.
Accept.
The other thing that came to mind, I was watching Pesto before, was when we were talking about whether or not we have, whether or not there is an I there. And we all think that we have a sense of there is a me and there's an outside. Do animals have that sense as well, that I'm a cat and that's a mouse, and if something comes to attack me, I've got to run away, or
No, they don't have symbolic language.
They don't have symbolic languages, but they do. Do they have a sense that do they have some sort of an ego?
No,
Okay.
there is a sense of presence, and apparently, and again, we are not, I can only speak for myself, my own experience, but according to the research and the science, the animals, their brain cannot conceptualize because it doesn't have language, so it cannot narrate, so it cannot construct the illusion of self existing through time. They do have spatial awareness of a shape of their vehicle, just like you have spatial awareness when you go on the road on your bike or you go on the road on your car. Your spatial awareness is different, your vehicle, your body is different. So the animals, cats, for example, they have whiskies, they know how big they are because they can have. So the spatial sort of volume awareness of a self through space, it is there. It is a survival mechanism, but symbolic language and conceptualizing self existing in time, like I was born and I will mate.
No, I don't mean in that sense. I mean, do they have? Well, egos typically have feelings and emotions and things like sadness, happiness. Do animals, like a cat, for example, do you think they feel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Bob uses the example quite a bit of the newborn child. Prior to the arising of conceptual language, or through the first year and a half, 2 years, there is no difference, really, between a newborn child and a cat.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can hear it cry when it's hungry.
It's still, the body is still doing what it does in the play. It's still responding to what's seemingly happening in the environment. The newborn, still has this intrinsic instinct, we'll use that word, to survive.
Yeah.
It's perfectly natural. You can see it in nature. So, and we are all that newborn. That is your sense of presence, your natural state. It's that the in the beginning was the effing word. Am I right, Bob?
What? Yes. Just to make you smile. Love your smile. Oh, please.
Oh, this is fun.
Oh, we've got a couple of comments here from the viewers. Hi, Kat, Bob and Tanya. Love you all. Doesn't love the rest of us, but that's all right. Thanks. This is Andrew Ray. Once the recognition that you are not a drop but the ocean, so to speak, what is left is the unconditional love, peace and acceptance, if you could give it a pointer or word. So he's sort of stating something and also asking if you could give that a pointer or word. Kat, Bob or Tanya.
I think you said it all. I mean, that was beautiful when you realize that you are not a drop, but the ocean.
Yeah.
All that is left is unconditional love, is an appreciation. It's an appreciation of life as it unfolds. And of course, it doesn't mean that the ocean is not made of drops, and those drops are coming and going. They come. There is not the same drop, like, you know, the same self or sense of self that was there yesterday is not the same sense of self that will be there tomorrow. It is the fluidity of the ocean. Ocean assumes the identity of the drop or the wave, but it is still and forever the ocean. So it can experience itself and appreciate itself as the sense of suffering or loss or sense of grief or sense of anything. But at the bottom of it, at that still bottom of the ocean, there is just love and appreciation for whatever the dream contains. And it's not the love the way we understand love as the ultimate pleasure, because of course love is pleasant, you know, even loving pizza is pleasant, and unconditionally loving, oh my God, what an ecstasy. So this is not the unconditional love which we talk about in a sense of pleasure, but it is more like unconditional embracing appreciation for everything, including darkness, light, all of the way it waves or it sparkles, you know, the forms or the drops of the ocean. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Just one more comment from, I hope I'm saying this right, Rukika Kapoor. Ruchi. Okay, Ruchi. I don't know Ruchi. Suffering is only a thought. Yeah. Beautiful, and there's a couple more people watching as well. But I'm like, I love music, and that's one of my big passions. And in a sense, how I would describe the sense of presence is, in Sanskrit they have this thing, the unstruck sound, the sound that is there when you don't. And there's a constant hum of being. And if you imagine on a keyboard that no matter what is playing, middle C is constantly playing. And so even though you've got you've got this, and that, the more you reflect on that or meditate on that, or Nisargadatta says, stay with the sense I am, it constantly reveals more, and you feel more and more of the joy and the peace and the subtle ecstasy that's in that. And all the other notes are really not distractions, they're part of the melody. Like a truck coming past, you know, it's part of the same flow. But if you're in your mind, you might go, oh, that's terrible, that sound. But it can be, all of that can be part of, like a violin, or in the city with all the chaos, is part of that beautiful flow. Yeah. So, and when you're present, yeah, yes, yes.
When you're wholly present, and this idea of, you know, what could in the mind appear as hideous cacophony can be divine beauty, like sitting in a auto in Tiruvannamalai, you know, those things that go, it's so noisy, but if you go with it, God, it's like this beautiful beat, you know, and it's gorgeous. But, you know, why would you want to miss a millisecond of that which is? Yeah. Why would you, by getting caught up in the mind bullshit, why would you want to miss a moment? And that's what's happening here more and more, is that there is a more of a sense of just even a slight bereftness at being away from it. There's like less and less interest, joy, interest in wanting to be caught up in anything.
It's beautiful.
And just to relax and let her watch it all. It's just fucking amazing.
It's like, why would you go back to a
Why?
city restaurant when
Correct.
you know it's a
That's
nice
it.
one?
Why would you, you know?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Is it a parcel?
No, it was just a grapes.
He's come for the teaching. Come on.
Yeah, no teaching.
Yeah.
No teaching, no
No,
teacher. That's the beauty of it. I mean, I love how Bob makes it super clear that there is no one who could possibly teach anyone, because there isn't anyone. So yes, he's not a teacher. It's just lifing. It's just life expressing itself as itself in words, in dance, in complaints, in everything. The whole thing.
Yeah, there's a beauty like that. Oh, the stick. Yes. I'm thinking, I just got a really small comment. There's a beauty in that,
you know, when two or more gather in my name, like there's an amplification of that field in this room, and there's a beauty to that. That doesn't mean that there's no beauty when I walk out the door, but there's somehow beauty when there's a focus, and it's not the words, but there's an energy field that is created when we're just sitting in this space, which is beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
The resonance amplifies.
Resonance amplifies. Yeah.
That's all.
Amplify that resonance.
Amplify.
I think there's a song coming on.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so did you want to add something? You want to smile to the camera for just a sec? Here now. Yeah, so no teacher, no teachings, but at the same time there is undeniable joy in just finding the place of freedom and expressing it, and how you call it, like acknowledging it or affirming it. And this is the invitation. Everyone right here, right now, can affirm the fact that there is an existence, and that this existence is radiant, is luminous, is alive, is mysterious, is unknowable, is ungraspable, is undescribable. But there is joyousness in it, in the fact that there is aliveness, there is that vibrating life happening, and it is moving the blood in the body, is moving every single organ, is causing the seeing to happen, is the life seeing. It's not the me, the imagined little self that is seeing. It's life itself, is the cognizing emptiness seeing. It is hearing. So get out of the way, like Bob often says. Get out of the way and let it see. Let it hear. Give the whole screen to that life to experience and express itself. And if part of the expression is the commentary, so be it. Get out of the way and listen to the commentary. And listen to whatever arises. Inner thought, outer thought, inner weather, outer weather, feeling, mood, emotion, whatever arises is arising in that field of knowing that you are. It's just the idea that it isn't a field, it is an individual, somewhere hidden out. It's just that idea that gets more credibility than other ideas, and that causes suffering. Like Bob says, belief in that little construct is the cause of all mental, psychological suffering. Absence of the belief in that construct doesn't mean that the life will not be expressing as the duality. It has to. There has to be winter and summer, and there has to be up and down, and high and low, and fat and slim, whatever it has to, otherwise there would be nothing. But it doesn't have to cause the turmoil, it doesn't have to cause resistance. And of course, natural resistance also is part of it. Even conceptual resistance is part of it. There's nothing that is not part of it. It's just that recognizing how mechanical that conceptual resistance is. Through that recognition, part of the attention trapped in that autopilot mechanical program is released, and the program doesn't have that much of a fuel to run. And it runs in the background, and it isn't taken seriously. Now, if the commentary says, I'm not good enough, I'm good for nothing, I'm a loser, I'm going to amount to nothing, my future is going to be dreadful, I'm going to lose all I have, I'm going to get old and I'm going to die. But there is no belief going in it. There is even a subtle laughter of that going on.
Can I flip that around a little bit, Kat? Can I flip that to someone who's overly ambitious?
Yes.
I want to become a multi-billionaire. I want to develop the latest, tech and revolutionize the world and all that sort of stuff. And that can create, like, for example, the technology we're now using, that's come about because of people thinking like that.
Yes.
What?
Not people, life thinking.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. But life working through people, obviously. Yeah.
Yes.
There's never been a doer. This has all just arisen through all of this, through all this energy. How would you like, if everyone thought like that, would this energy still arise and to create all of these things that we have and continually evolve like this?
See, we're going now to the if questions. Hypothetical situations, imaginary situations. That is exactly what is trading unborn Buddha mindful thought. See, if you actually see how the life self-organizes, the answer is obvious why we don't have situation when everyone drops the ambition. Because life self-organizes, and through one vehicle it expresses ambition. Through another there is an ambition to be a like rock star or whatever, or create music or symphony. Those are the ways life expresses. And now the theoretical question, imagine now if everyone had equal ambition to make billions of dollars. That's imagination. That is not happening. Life is so brilliant and so intelligent in just making it not happening. Making it only a possibility in the mind and having the actuality as such that in some people the investigation arises and in others it doesn't. And again, from the individual perspective, it may feel like this is unfair because I am attracted to law of attraction, and then I'm gonna suffer because there is always I'm creating a habit of always wanting more, desiring, and that habit is stronger and stronger. So I'm bound to suffer, even if 90% of my bloody ideas is gonna come to fruition. Or I have the investigation that arises, and now the more and more of letting go and dropping, and more of freedom and being at peace, whether the desires are fulfilled or not. From individual perspective, it seems like God is a bloody bastard. You know, He favors someone and it puts to hell someone else. But there is no God, and life is one. So in that one life, the idea of ocean and a drop, or ocean or the wave, you know, one wave will be big, or one drop will be small, or one drop will be cold and one will be hot. The whole ocean has every single possibility. It expresses itself as a cat, as the ambitious person, as the rock star, as someone who realized the truth of their essence, or there is no one who realized, but just some body mind in which the illusion of separateness has been seen through by life. So
like a garden, isn't it? Like you walk the garden, there's so many different, some species want to take over other species, and in the end it all balances, doesn't it?
Yes, you need it all. You need the soil dwellers and those who eat the excrement. You need the soil dwellers and those who eat the excrement, and the whole thing is connected, and it's incredibly unfathomably complex web, and there is no one who misses out. There is no one. There is only one, and not even one. Right? Yes?
There is not even one.
Not even one. Beautiful. That is really, really good point to remember. Yeah?
One without a second. It's not two.
Not even one.
The Lord thy God is one God. There is nothing other.
Yep.
It's all there.
All there.
So be a rock star if you want, David. If that's where you're going, there's nothing wrong with that.
Not in this
It's life experience. How do you know? How do you know? That's a thought, a limiting thought. Who knows?
You are every rock star that is singing right now. You are the life itself. Through us life, you are every single pattern, shape and form, because nothing is separate from life. And you are life. Nothing is separate from you.
And I since being introduced to this, I've got more interest in life than ever. Like, I don't know what I've seen and what I haven't seen and what hasn't dropped in, but there's more. And I understand for some people there's a period where all interests drop away and all that sort of stuff. But for me, because it's a play, I can fully throw myself into it because there's no it doesn't have to complete me. And I still have preferences, and I still want things to go well, and I still want to develop in music, and but it's not completing that core essence, so therefore there's more space. And then I can go, wow, what's possible here? We've got some questions from our viewers here. Vivek Kumar says, teacher tells non-duality to student, and by the end of the teaching, teacher-student disappeared. And a smiley face, laughing face. They both unite in presence now. Beautiful. Say the name. I'm learning English here. Patricia Feldman says, I am so happy to hear these reminders over and over again, and to see Bob, as sweet as always, pure, loving, impossible not to react with a smile and a heart something upon seeing him. A heartbeat, maybe that is. I'm not sure. It says heart neat. It might be a typo. Beautiful, Patricia. And Julia Pegler-Rotuno says, I love this. Wonderful meeting as always, and nice dress, Sailor Cat. There you go.
That's from Julia.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julia.
So thank you, Julia Pegler-Rotuno. Who's next?
I can only throw questions.
Bob?
Yes.
Any questions?
Any questions, Bob?
What do you want to know? Can tell you everything, every secret. No? You don't need the secrets of the universe?
Well, I'm hearing them.
You're hearing them. Okay, we can contemplate and enjoy the silence that sings. Oh, wait, yes?
And I am here sitting in the silence
Until you come
until you come.
and sit a while
And
with
sit a
me.
while.
Can you say that again?
Okay, how did it go?
I'll have to try and think it up now.
Try to think it up now. There's this song, You Raise Me Up, so I can stand the mountains. You raise me up to walk. Yeah.
So I can stand on mountains.
You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. You raise me up, and but he was which verse was it? The sitting. I'm sitting in a silence until you come and sit a while with me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And you see, all these songs take on a different meaning to you. You see them in a different light.
Yeah. Once you see, you can't unsee. Yeah.
That's so true. I'm always saying, oh God, that's a new non-duality song. Oh, another one, because it's all the one essence. Of course it's going to express. Of course. Some nail it
Yep.
better than others, but yeah, Mitra, you want to speak?
More comments over here. Well, I'm doing an American accent. I could do an Indian accent too. Okie dokie. Who can I offend here? Now, take a look at that. Okay. I'm now addressing someone who may be Indian, so I better watch myself. I'm equal with all accents. Sital Jahal, so happy to be here and see you all, and Bob responding. So beautiful. Thanks, Sital. Simone Braund. That's a cool surname. Braund. I think that's a shaver, isn't it? Oh, that's Braun.
That's a German accent.
That's a German. Yeah, Simone Braund. Yeah, you're here to talk about the non-duality. She says, lovely to listen in. Row, row, row the boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Beautiful, Simone. And Sital Johal again. Sital Johal. No one is talking and no one is listening, and yet listening and talking is happening. Amazing. Totally. And then Ram, who I believe I know, Ram Ramesh Yuri. Is that Mr.
Yes, that's him. You know.
He says, is that Mr. Gillam? That's my email.
Yep.
Sitting on a far left. Yes, it is. I probably put on 15 kilograms, so you may not recognise me, but it's still me. And it's just putting on 15 kilograms is appearing in awareness. So good to see you. And yeah, they're the latest comments. So is Ram in Melbourne?
No, he's in Sydney.
I think I met Ram in India. Anyway,
No, he lived in Melbourne, but now he lives
But
in Sydney.
I believe that I met him in India.
He's been here 3 weeks ago also.
Ah, okay. Okay, yeah, okay. Over and out. Yeah.
You want it?
Oh, Bob! He wanted to produce a sound.
You wanted somebody to speak? I'll give speech to Pesto a go.
Squeeze a tail of Pesto. He loves you.
Yeah.
No, yes. Pulling your hand away from there, it's got a bitch. That's it.
Okay, so just for everyone, he's just having an itch. He's not picking his nose or nothing like that. He couldn't. He is a poor innocent Bob. He is the love of my life, and he is impeccable and perfect. and he is. And oh gosh, I might be biased, but yes, he is.
Leave your piercings at the door with your boots next time you go.
I'm not going anywhere.
Is you one at the door?
That's another parcel.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Ram just said we did meet in India.
Oh, right.
We did meet in India.
Cool. Yes, I'll just take a time to say thank you to everyone who hangs out with us and contributes to the meeting. That really makes it easier, makes it flowy, makes it interesting, makes it enjoyable, because we have such limited space. So knowing that we have online community who is with us is really, really, really cute, cool, precious, yes. And of course, having Bob with us, that's the light of the world.
Where else could I be?
But having you even in a form, in that form, life form that is emptiness in its nature, having the emptiness showing up as that form, as that perfect, beautiful form.
So I guess so. Isn't that we can still celebrate the forms of things? Like that was a beautiful pizza. Bob's a beautiful being. It doesn't take away from the fact that nothing's happening. It's just the beauty. Like that flower's wow. That flower's beautiful. Doesn't mean that the truck isn't beautiful, but that's the amazing thing. Celebrating everything. Anyway,
Similar to when you're watching a beautiful, stage show.
yeah,
As an audience member, you know that it's not real,
yeah.
but you can enjoy the play
Yeah.
of the characters and the intelligence that's gone behind creating it and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Totally.
And also, just like in the dream, when the dream goes on, there may be no insight that it is just a dream. It's all made of mental images, that it doesn't have physical reality. But within the dream, it feels as if it does. It feels real. When you are haunted and you have to run or you fly or whatever happens, it feels real. But we can see how even though dream feels completely real, there is no persistent self of identity or limited self. It's just a point in consciousness responding to the environment. And life that we are living, life is but the dream, is the same, is no different. If that mental construct, there is a point in consciousness from which the looking happens. There is a point of consciousness from which it seems like as a reference point, the hearing happens. But when there is no construct behind it, when there is no idea that there is some me sitting there, or there is some me doing thinking or hearing, that point in consciousness is not a problem. That point is just what life is lifing, is just consciousness interacting with itself, is the inner and the outer, the point of observation, and whatever is observed becomes one in that whole field of seeing. And suddenly you're not the point anymore, you're the field of seeing. The fact that there is an angle from which the seeing happens is only the interpretation of it. The seeing, the field of seeing, the hearing, the tasting, the touching, the smelling. And now it is the dream. Life is but a dream. And it doesn't end, it doesn't stop. There is no awakening from the dream while the dream is on. There is awakening to the dream. There is a recognition of the fact that there is dreaming going on. So how important is that? How serious, how urgent, how painful, how... It just is as it is. And now there is a freedom for just, wow, aha, as it is. Aram has transcribed Bob's talks from years, from, I think, transcripts for some old cassettes, and titled it As It Is, unaltered, unmodified, uncorrected. We published it. We read first half of it with Bob and enjoyed it very, very much. And yeah, Ram's still apparently working on it. But as it is, this is the freedom. Instead of having a value judgment on whatever is happening, that is taken in as it is not contrived by the thought, by the idea. This is good for me, this is bad for me. No, and even if those ideas arise, they are just part of the landscape. They not overwhelm the landscape. Everything else is also part of the landscape. And now you are the landscape. You are the whole field. You are the limitless, boundless, bodiless, birthless, deathless. All the limitations come only with the imagination. I imagine I'm in the body. Who imagines? If there is no one to imagine, there may be a rising of a waving hand. But how is that me? Or how is that mine without the thought? It isn't. It's just as it is. Whatever arises as it is. Seeing how that interpretation overlooks or overlays the natural happening of the life as it unfolds as it is. Seeing that trick of translating everything as related to an individual which doesn't have an existence, which has initially been believed in and misconstrued and misidentified as, seeing how it happens relaxes the energy of belief. And now, even though the whole process may keep rolling, it isn't as believable. Even though Earth may still look flat, it isn't as believable. There is no fear of walking towards the horizon that you're going to fall off. And that's that, really. Anyone? And the last word? Go.
Last word, right? Because just a question came up.
Go on.
So I have a little bit more kind of sense of presence right now. Like I sense it. I think you guys.
Sense of presence has you.
Okay. Yes, that's the right. And whatever it is, I just thought there is this always a kind of subjectivity.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And that's very interesting, that sense of subjectivity that I have is actually operating through everyone else, right? It's like my subjectivity is your subjectivity.
Yes.
No?
What you just said is happening through everyone else.
Yes.
Well, that's all there is, the one.
Yeah, there is one. It's not my and yours. The subjectivity is all there is, pure subjectivity. Not my subjectivity, your subjectivity, pure subjectivity.
See, we don't realise how much we use it throughout the day, not realising what we're saying.
Mm-hmm. But you nailed it. Beautiful. The same sense of subjectivity is arising in any point of consciousness. So there is no separation. Separation is only conceptual. When you say, this is my body, this is your body, this is somebody else's body, they're only thoughts. How the pure subjectivity, how the cognizing emptiness has been divided artificially by thoughts and labels.
It's hard to believe that sense of subjectivity is the same subjectivity in all of you.
Bob wants to say something. Hey.
There it is again. It's hard to believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You thought that you just put parabolic
See, you never move away from it when you look at it.
And why you even analyze it?
I don't hear Bob, that's my issue.
Yeah, he says you never move away from it. You never move away from it. Why to even hard to believe? Why to even bother with whether I believe it or I don't believe it? The direct experience is the subjectivity. Stay with that.
And you look into the word belief, an unquestioned acceptance of something in the absence of reason, acceptance of an alleged fact without positive knowledge or proof.
That is what's operating in. That's what is operating in all of us and everyone else.
Yes.
That sense of subjectivity.
Yes. Yes.
The same thing.
Yes. Yes.
But there is only one,
Yeah.
not even one.
Yes.
There is no duality and non-duality.
So, what is that sense of subjectivity
You
if
know
there
it.
is no
It's
one?
It just is. It's isness. It just is. It's knowing.
You can't objectify it. It's not an
Stop
object.
trying to understand it
It's
because you are trying
subject.
to understand it with the mind. You can't do
It's
that.
not an object, but it's a subject.
See,
Pure
uh,
subjectivity.
objectifying subjectivity is a contradiction in terms. Subjectivity cannot be objectified because the moment it is objectified, there is the subject objectifying it, so it isn't it anymore. That's why you can never find out who you are, because the one who found out is not what is being found out. You can only find the object. Subjectivity cannot be objectified. You can never ever figure out what it is or what you are. You only know that you are. And this is the Mahavakya, the great mantra. That I am. I know, yeah? You cannot objectify pure subjectivity. The most intimate feeling that, oh, there is an existence, I am. This is very personal, this is very close to hearts. This is really the core or the essence or the heart of existence. How could you make it to an object? Who would be making it to an object? Obviously, the subject would have to be elsewhere. So that subject, that subjectivity cannot be made to an object. And that is why you can never ever know what you are, because what is an object. But you cannot know that you are, because even to have the capacity to recognize the subjectivity and the capacity to objectify, you know that you are. And that you are is the great mantra, is the Mahavakya. That I am. I know that I am. And you know it right now.
Or the other way around. I am that.
Yeah. Yeah. Bob and Nisargadatta preferred I am that, I prefer that I am. It's kind of clearer. But if anyone resonates with a different set of pointers, and they all just rubbish to be thrown away after they are used, after they've done the job.
And they're, again, I mean, they're beautiful ways, but they are, again, just words.
Yes.
You don't have to get stuck with them. If another word resonates for you, that's fine.
Yeah.
I am, isness, I exist.
Subjectivity.
You know, that's all knowing.
Yeah.
Here, that. It doesn't matter. It's that you know it. You know it.
There is knowing.
You know it.
Bob was.
You know it.
And if it doesn't matter, it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
If it doesn't matter, it hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened. Yes.
What hasn't happened?
Nothing. See, again, to objectify whatever happened, you're still making concepts. In the actuality of the life as it is, nothing has ever happened. Things only happened in the memory, in the mind, in the conceptualization, in that whole overlay of the constructed reality. As it is, in this moment, in the non-conceptual awareness, everything is as it is. Nothing ever happened. Don't try to grasp it with the concept. Just see whatever happened without the thought, if you don't think about it.
And that is what it is as it is.
Yeah.
What it
Unaltered, unmodified, uncorrected, just as it is.
Without the thought.
Just as it is. What?
Without the thought. Yes.
That's
wrong with
you're
right
talking
now?
about
Yeah,
pure
without the thought.
awareness, right?
Yes.
Nothing there happens ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It just things. Nothing happens there, but things are arising all the time.
Yeah. Of course. Of course. But they don't happen unless you name them.
Can I just add, like, there's the three states that we call, being. We've got the deep sleep, the dream sleep, and the what we call now awakeness. So would this awareness that you're talking about, that we're all part of, would that be similar to the deep sleep, where there's no dreaming, there's no thinking, the mind's not involved at all? Would that be the kind of
Like a baseline?
yeah, like the baseline that you can go back to try and get your mind to conceptualize that we all are actually this one uniform.
You try.
Oh, no.
Don't try and
you're
get the
trying
mind to
grasp
conceptualize.
it.
You cannot
Yes.
find the answer in the mind.
No, I know,
yeah.
but
You could say that without the
we-
thoughts,
every
you
night,
know.
every night
yeah?
we go into that state.
Yes.
Every night we go into that state where we're not there. Where there's no dreaming. There's no.
The mind thinks. The mind gives the thought that you're not there.
That's
But
right.
Do you not,
But you are there. That's what exactly what I'm
Correct.
saying. That's exactly
Yeah.
what my point is. You are existing still.
Yes.
So the fact that you are existing in that state, the dreamless sleep, should be proof that that you always exist.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, of
You always exist. So you don't need the mind to come up with either dreams or interpret what we call now reality to be. And that's
Yeah.
probably the real. Again, my mind's getting involved trying to conceptualize it, but that's the background of what we really are. Is that dreamless sleep? But to always know that in all three states, I think that's when you've woken up fully. I think, isn't it?
And just one, there is no mind.
Yeah.
There is no mind. Find it.
Mm.
There is no mind.
Yeah.
There are only these transient, ephemeral vibrations that seemingly occur somewhere inside your head. But that's only a thought. You've learnt that. That's a conditioning. It's just happening. It's no different to what's going on out here. Perhaps more subtle, whatever. But it's really just an ephemeral vibration. Bob uses the expression like smoke from a skywriting in the sky. It has no substance apart from that, the background on which it appears. Or like the movie in the cinema on the screen. Don't get caught up in the mind is doing this, the mind is doing that. There is no mind. There is no central headquarters.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No one there. No
Find
one
it.
home.
Find it. Show it to yourself. If you can find it, then great.
Chris has another. Yeah.
Oh, I've got the viewers. Charlotte H. Poirier. Not sure how you say that.
We don't put last names. usually.
Okay. Yep, she's just done a heart, so that's nice. Jagannath has done some emoticons and a heart. Vivek, existence of subject is ego at play. Subject will also disappear. Sital, thank you all. Have a great day. And Sital, Bob, it's nice to see you getting well and responding. Love. Yeah. Beautiful.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for hanging out with us. And
Thank you all.
Thanks.
say it again.
Say it one more time. Thank you all. Love you all.
Say it again to the camera, darling. No, please. Sweetheart.
For all the watchers online who adore you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, all the viewers, because you're all that anyway.
That's it. All one
We all
essence.
that and love you all.